As we grow older, the choices we make about what goes on our plate carry more weight than ever before. For seniors across America, eating well isn't just about taste or tradition. It's about preserving mobility, supporting joint health, reducing fatigue, and maintaining a vibrant, independent life. And yet, there's one food group that continues to raise questions and confusion, even among the most health-conscious older adults: vegetables. Yes, vegetables are widely celebrated as essential to a healthy diet. But here's something that may surprise you. Not all vegetables are ideal for seniors. In fact, a few commonly eaten vegetables may actually work against your goals, silently aggravating joint pain, increasing inflammation, or draining your energy levels. On the flip side, there are also vegetables that offer remarkable support for aging joints, stamina, and mental clarity, if you know which ones to choose. That's exactly what we'll explore in this video. The 3 worst vegetables for senior joints and energy, and 3 of the best, backed by nutritional science and real-life senior stories. If you or someone you love is over 60, this is more than a helpful guide. It's a roadmap to aging with less pain and more power. Let's begin the journey toward better choices, one vegetable at a time. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. The 3 worst vegetables for seniors' joints and energy. 1. Pickled vegetables like pickles, sauerkraut, pickled beets. They're crunchy, tangy, and often associated with wholesome homemade meals. For decades, pickled vegetables like cucumbers, sauerkraut, and even pickled beets have been seen as staples in pantries across America, a nostalgic nod to simpler times. But for seniors, especially those struggling with joint pain, swelling, or unpredictable energy crashes, these foods may be doing far more harm than good. What many older adults don't realize is that pickled vegetables are usually loaded with sodium. Not just a pinch, but often hundreds of milligrams in a single bite. Over time, this hidden salt content can silently erode health. For a 70 or 80-year-old body that's already battling inflammation, water retention, and stiffer joints, this excessive sodium acts like gasoline on a fire. It intensifies puffiness, tightens blood vessels, and causes fluids to accumulate around already sensitive joints, particularly in the knees, fingers, and ankles. And it's not just the joints that suffer. When high sodium levels force the heart to work harder, fatigue often follows. You may feel heavier, more sluggish after meals, or find yourself needing more naps just to get through the day. That slowed down feeling isn't always aging. Sometimes it's the result of small but constant dietary stressors like pickled foods. Let's not forget the chemical side of pickling either. Many commercially pickled vegetables contain preservatives and artificial coloring agents that, while approved for consumption, may still pose risks for sensitive systems. Seniors with kidney issues or on certain medications could be especially vulnerable to how these additives interact with the body. Take the story of Edgar Lawson, a retired bus driver in his mid-70s who thought pickles were a better snack than chips. He had them daily with his lunch, something crunchy, familiar, and comforting. But for months, he noticed his knees felt tighter every morning, and his blood pressure readings were creeping up despite medication. It wasn't until a routine visit to a dietitian revealed that he was consuming nearly 2,000 milliliters of sodium just from pickles and pickled beets that he realized the cost of that daily habit. After switching to fresh cucumber slices with lemon and herbs, his swelling reduced, his energy improved, and for the first time in months, his joints felt looser by morning. This isn't to say pickled foods are evil, but for seniors, especially those looking to stay mobile and independent, they are best treated as an occasional indulgence, not a daily staple. And if that surprised you, wait until you hear about a common health food that's quietly wearing down your immune system and robbing your bones of key nutrients, all while hiding behind a healthy reputation. Let's talk mushrooms. 2. Mushrooms, especially raw white mushrooms. At first glance, mushrooms seem like a harmless, even virtuous choice. They're low in calories, often praised for their umami flavor, and featured in everything from hearty soups to elegant salads. But for seniors, particularly those facing joint stiffness, autoimmune conditions, or chronic fatigue, raw mushrooms may be doing something unexpected, fueling the very symptoms they're trying to avoid. The truth is, white mushrooms, especially in their raw form, contain a surprising set of compounds that can quietly interfere with senior health. One of the biggest culprits, purines. These naturally occurring substances break down into uric acid in the body. And when uric acid builds up, it can trigger painful flare-ups of gout, a condition that disproportionately affects older adults and causes intense joint pain, particularly in the feet and hands. Even for those who don't have gout, mushrooms present challenges. They are part of the fungal family and contain molecules that can act as irritants or allergens for individuals with weakened immune systems, a common reality as we age. For some, this can manifest as low-grade, persistent inflammation. For others, it may show up as bloating, skin reactions, or unexplained fatigue. These symptoms can be so subtle that many seniors never think to question what's in their salad. Take the story of Mavis Dunleavy, a retired librarian from Albany. At 78, she prided herself on eating healthy. Her lunch routine included a raw mushroom salad 3 to 4 times a week, but she began noticing unusual symptoms: aching joints in the morning, brain fog that lingered longer each day, and flare-ups in her long-dormant arthritis. Her doctors found no new diagnoses, but a nutritionist asked her to try removing mushrooms from her diet in just for 2 weeks. The change was almost immediate. Her mornings became less painful, her energy steadier, and for the first time in months, her fingers no longer felt stiff before breakfast. This isn't to say mushrooms are bad for everyone, but for older adults, especially those prone to joint issues or autoimmune sensitivity, they may be worth a second look. Cooking them can reduce some of their inflammatory compounds, but if symptoms persist, it may be time to replace them altogether. Because what seems harmless on the surface might be chipping away at your well-being underneath. And speaking of innocent-looking vegetables with a secret, the next one on our list is something colorful, crisp, and often praised, yet it may be silently contributing to your joint pain every time it hits your plate. Let's talk about bell peppers. 3. Bell peppers and hot peppers. Vibrant, colorful, and packed with a satisfying crunch, bell peppers have earned a reputation as a healthy staple, often tossed into salads, stir-fries, and even eaten raw as a snack. They look cheerful on the plate, bursting with red, yellow, and green hues that seem to promise vitality. But for many older adults, especially those coping with arthritis, joint pain, or chronic inflammation, bell peppers may be silently working against their well-being. What most seniors don't know is that bell peppers belong to the nightshade family, a group of vegetables that includes tomatoes, eggplant, and white potatoes. These plants contain naturally occurring chemicals called alkaloids, and while these compounds serve as natural pesticides for the plant, in the human body, particularly in older adults, they can trigger low-level immune responses and chronic joint inflammation. One of the most common offenders in this group is solanine, a compound that has been linked to increased joint stiffness, swelling, and nerve sensitivity in people who are predisposed. And while not every senior is sensitive to nightshades, for those who are, bell peppers can be deceptively damaging. The body doesn't always respond with dramatic symptoms. Sometimes it's a quiet increase in morning stiffness, a creeping fatigue, a sense that movement has become just a little harder with no clear reason why. Take Willeen Carter, an 81-year-old retired florist from Sacramento. Active, independent, and sharp as ever, she had one frustrating enemy: aching hands that made gardening, her favorite pastime, harder and harder. She assumed it was age, until a friend mentioned nightshades and suggested tracking her meals. What Willing discovered surprised her. On nights she had stuffed bell peppers, the next morning was always worse. Her fingers throbbed and her wrists felt tight. Reluctantly, she cut them out for a month. The change was undeniable. Less swelling, more mobility, the freedom to return to her backyard, pruning, planting, and arranging without wincing. It's not about villainizing vegetables. It's about understanding that even foods with healthy reputations can behave differently in aging bodies. If you've been living with unexplained joint pain, tightness, or fatigue, it might be time to look at what's on your plate, especially the ingredients you don't suspect. Because now that we've uncovered the vegetables that may be secretly holding you back, it's time to shift our focus to the ones that could move you forward. The powerful, joint-supporting, energy-boosting vegetables that seniors should eat regularly. And you might be surprised which humble root vegetable tops the list. The 3 best vegetables to support senior joints and boost energy. 1. Watercress, the forgotten super green for joints. In a world where kale, spinach, and broccoli often steal the spotlight, one humble green has quietly been overlooked, yet it may be the most powerful ally for aging joints and lasting vitality: watercress. Light, peppery, and unassuming, watercress isn't just a garnish or a background player. For seniors looking to reduce inflammation, protect their bones, and boost energy naturally, this leafy green could be a game changer. What sets watercress apart is its nutrient density. Ounce for ounce, it's one of the most concentrated sources of vitamins and minerals of any vegetable. It's packed with vitamin K, crucial for healthy bone formation and joint function, along with vitamin C, calcium, beta-carotene, and powerful antioxidants that work quietly behind the scenes to fight inflammation and support cellular repair. But its benefits go deeper. Watercress is rich in natural nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that helps open up blood vessels, improving circulation and oxygen delivery. For seniors, this means more energy, better mobility, and sharper mental clarity. It's not just about reducing joint pain, it's about feeling more alive in your own skin again. Take Helen Rivera, a 76-year-old former dance instructor in Miami. After decades of movement and performance, her knees began to ache, her mornings felt slower, and she struggled with the fatigue that crept in by early afternoon. She had tried various supplements and even considered injections, but nothing seemed to make a lasting difference. Then, during a wellness class at her local community center, she learned about the benefits of watercress and began adding a small handful to her daily smoothie. Within weeks, she noticed a difference. Her knees felt less stiff, her walks around the neighborhood became more enjoyable, and she found herself needing fewer breaks throughout the day. More than that, she felt clearer, mentally lighter. Her energy, once flat and unpredictable, now carried her steadily through the day. The beauty of watercress lies not just in its power, but in its gentleness. It doesn't overwhelm the body or clash with medications. It supports quietly, consistently, and completely. It's the kind of food that doesn't shout for attention but earns it with results. And if that tiny green leaf can do so much, just wait until you meet a time-tested kitchen favorite that not only brings flavor to your meals, but also acts like nature's own anti-inflammatory medicine. Let's talk about garlic, but not the way you might expect. 2. Cooked garlic, nature's anti-inflammatory ally. Garlic has been part of human history for thousands of years, a staple in ancient remedies, folk medicine, and family recipes passed down through generations. But what many seniors don't realize is that when used thoughtfully, especially lightly cooked, garlic transforms from a simple flavor enhancer into a natural healer for aging joints, weary muscles, and tired minds. The magic lies in allicin, a sulfur based compound released when garlic is chopped or crushed. When garlic is gently cooked, not burned or over fried, this compound helps reduce inflammation, lower oxidative stress, and improve circulation. For seniors living with joint discomfort, stiffness, or chronic fatigue, that means relief without medication. A quiet, daily support system built right into the food they already enjoy. But garlic's gifts don't end with joints. It also plays a powerful role in heart health, helping reduce cholesterol and regulate blood pressure. And because inflammation is often a root cause of both cardiovascular disease and arthritis, garlic works on both fronts, protecting what you can feel, your knees, hands, or back, and what you can't, your arteries, nerves, and cells. It's one of nature's few true multitaskers. Meet Robert Kent, an 83-year-old grandfather and retired airplane technician from Boise, Idaho. Robert had always loved food, but after being diagnosed with mild arthritis and high blood pressure, his doctor recommended limiting salt and red meat. He was frustrated. Food had become joyless. Then a neighbor suggested garlic, not raw and harsh, but slowly sautéed in olive oil and added to soups, vegetables, even his morning eggs. It wasn't a miracle overnight. But after several weeks, Robert noticed something different. His joints moved more freely, he didn't wake up feeling like he'd rusted overnight, and his energy carried him through the day without his usual late morning slump. There's something poetic about garlic, how something so small and humble, so easy to overlook, can hold so much strength. It doesn't scream for attention, it simply does the work, healing, balancing, restoring, without fuss. And if garlic can quietly relieve pain and fuel vitality from the inside out, imagine what could happen when we introduce a vegetable that not only soothes joints, but also nourishes your bones, lifts your mood, and is surprisingly gentle on digestion. Get ready to discover the quiet power of broccolini, a sweet green with a secret strength. 3. Steamed broccolini, a joint-friendly green with a sweet twist. Sometimes the best healing doesn't come in pills or procedures. It comes in the quiet, consistent choices we make each day. And few choices are more underrated, yet more impactful for seniors than adding steamed broccolini to the plate. Often mistaken for young broccoli, broccolini is actually a tender hybrid of broccoli and Chinese kale. Its thin stalks, delicate florets, and slightly sweet flavor make it not only more palatable than traditional broccoli, but also easier to digest. A small but meaningful advantage for older adults who may struggle with gas, bloating, or sluggish digestion. But what makes broccolini truly shine is its nutrient profile and how it supports the specific needs of aging bodies. It's packed with vitamin C, beta-carotene, magnesium, and even a bit of iron, all essential for joint health, muscle recovery, and energy metabolism. Magnesium, in particular, plays a crucial role in regulating inflammation and muscle function, and yet it's one of the most commonly deficient minerals in older adults. Steamed broccolini offers a gentle way to reintroduce those lost nutrients without harsh side effects. Unlike raw cruciferous vegetables, which can sometimes irritate the thyroid or the gut, lightly steamed broccolini becomes softer, more bioavailable, and more soothing to the body. It's food that works with you, not against you. Consider Frances Joe, a 79-year-old retired pianist from Portland, Oregon. Once known for her fluid, graceful performances, Frances began struggling with finger stiffness and lower back tightness that made even practicing scales feel burdensome. After eliminating harder to digest greens like raw kale and switching to broccolini, steamed and drizzled with olive oil, she noticed a change not just in her joints, but in her energy. Her digestion improved, her fingers felt more agile, and she found herself sitting longer at the piano, not out of obligation, but because she wanted to. There's a quiet strength in broccolini. It doesn't overwhelm, it doesn't overpower, it simply nourishes. It's easy to prepare, versatile in the kitchen, and kind to the aging body in all the right ways. And now that you've discovered this sweet green gem, you might be wondering what's next? What other overlooked foods could be working overtime to protect your joints, your eyes, and your immune system, all in one bite? Get ready to meet a leafy powerhouse that's as beautiful as it is healing. Let's talk about Swiss chard. Final thoughts from a doctor who's walked this road with you. After more than 4 decades in medicine, much of it spent walking alongside older adults navigating the challenges of aging, I've come to understand something very simple, yet profoundly important. What you eat is either your greatest ally or your quietest enemy. Many seniors I've treated over the years shared a similar belief that eating vegetables automatically meant eating healthy. And to be fair, they weren't wrong in spirit. But as we've explored today, not all vegetables serve the aging body the same way. Some, though nutritious in general, can cause more harm than good for seniors, spiking blood sugar, disrupting digestion, worsening inflammation, or even interfering with critical medications. And these effects often appear gradually. A little more stiffness here, a little more fatigue there, until what used to be vitality is replaced by sluggishness and silent frustration. On the other hand, the right vegetables, the ones that truly support your joints, boost your energy, and protect your heart and brain, can change everything. I've seen patients regain mobility they thought they lost forever. I've watched energy return to the eyes of men and women who believed their best days were behind them. All of it starting with small, thoughtful shifts in the kitchen. You don't need a complicated diet plan. You don't need to count every calorie or live off supplements. You simply need to understand your body's needs now, in this chapter of life, and begin honoring them with the right foods. Start by removing what quietly harms: overly salty pickled vegetables, nightshades like bell peppers if you're sensitive to them, and raw mushrooms that may inflame your joints or disrupt your immune balance. These are not enemies. They're just not right for your body at this time in life. Then add what heals: watercress to support circulation and bones, cooked garlic to reduce inflammation, steamed broccolini to gently restore joint comfort and strength. These are simple, beautiful ingredients that meet your body where it is and help it do what it was designed to do: thrive. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the first and most important step: paying attention. That alone sets you apart. It means you're not surrendering to aging, but engaging with it with curiosity, intention, and care. And as someone who has cared for thousands of seniors, let me leave you with this: aging does not mean decline, it means change. And change gives us the opportunity to grow smarter, stronger, and more connected to our bodies than ever before. So choose wisely, eat mindfully, and remember, you have more control over your health than you think. One meal, one vegetable, one conscious choice at a time. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.